Think about that. So what is the criteria for a good friend? Who is a good friend? Here is some criteria for a good friend. Number one, is somebody when you are in their company, they remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the akhirah. People who talk about deen, people who talk about Islam, people who talk serious things. Now I'm not saying, now you might say, well, you know, what kind of a life is this? There's no laughter, there's no fun. I mean, I'm leading you towards a life which is so dull and boring. It's not, believe me. It's great fun. We also make jokes, but you make the right kind of jokes. You also have fun, but you have the right kind of fun. Enjoy yourself. There's nothing wrong. Nobody says don't enjoy yourself. By all means. But do the right things. So, a good friend is one who will remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the akhirah. In that person's company, this is the top of your mind. Number two, you learn something from them. Every time you meet them, you learn something from them. Something new that you did not know, or they will correct you with love. So if you're doing something wrong, they will correct you, and alhamdulillah, you learn something from them. And last one is important. A good friend is one that you are not ashamed of. Because sometimes we have friends, you know, when you talk about introducing them to your family or to Sheikh, for example, you say, no, I don't want to introduce this friend to the Sheikh. So when they are there, you kind of walk a little bit that way, so the Sheikh doesn't think, oh, is this your friend? No, no, not. Then something is wrong. So you need to correct. That's why I'm saying, remember, you can't afford friends who don't fit that image. They're too expensive. Too expensive. And then, in case you are feeling very superior, ask yourself this question. What kind of a friend do I think I am for others? Do I fit into that bill that when my friend is with me, they are hearing about Allah and the akhirah? When they are with me, are they learning something new from me? The idea of saying this is not to make us feel superior to others, and which is what is certain, but I have no control over it. It's very important in life to be clear about these things, because rules of the game are things that can hurt you. If you break it, you are getting into trouble. So in the deen, what are the rules of the game? What is absolutely certain and you have no control over it because you didn't make the law, Allah made the law. We need to be absolutely clear about it. If I miss my salah, Rasulullah said, the thing between them and us is salah. وَمَنْ أَرَدَهَا فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. So think about that. Rule of the game. Once you understand the rules of the game, then you go to the second quadrant, which is uncertainty and no control, which is the future. We don't know the future and we have no control over the future. But you still have to deal with the future. How do you do that? You do that by what we call scenario planning. Scenario planning is not foretelling the future or fortune telling or something. Scenario planning is not that. Scenario planning is thinking about what ifs. What ifs. So you've got a future which is uncertain naturally, and you don't know this future, you have no control over the future. So you plan scenarios. You say that if we, for example, if we create a school in this masjid, a full-time school which teaches this, what is the likely outcome? If we create a school but it's not a full-time school, it's a part-time school and it teaches less than this, what is the outcome? If we create no school at all, what is the outcome? These are all scenarios, different scenarios. Now based on the scenarios, you get options. I want to draw your attention to two words. The word choice and the word option. We mistake one for the other. People think that choices are options, they are not. I'll give you an example. Say you are driving down the road. Long drive from here to New York. And you've got little kids in the car. Right? So the kids get very impatient and they say, when will have we arrived, when will we arrive, and so on and so on. So big nuisance value. So you tell the kid to say, okay, next rest area, I'm going to let you, if you keep quiet now, next rest area, I'm going to let you out and I'm going to allow you to buy something for yourself. Right? So the kid keep quiet. Now you get to the rest area. So you take the kid into the rest place. Now when you go there in the shop, they've got ice cream, they've got chocolate, they've got wafers, they've got all kinds of stuff, sandwiches, lots and lots of choices. But how many options does the kid have? How many? One. Because you told the kid, next rest area, I'm going to let you buy one thing. You understand the difference between option and choice? Lots of choices. Option only one. Because option has to do with control. Your option is that which you can control. Choice is that which exists. There is a very big difference between the two. So don't confuse one for the other. Option is what you control. So what is uncertain but you have control is called an option. From your scenario planning, you work out your options. What are our options? Option number one, this is what it is. And most options have costs involved. So option number one, this is the cost and this is what it will, is the benefit for this. You need to do what is called the cost benefit analysis for options. So here is an option, this is the cost benefit, here is an option 2, option 3, option 4, and out of that you pick whichever one you think is most beneficial for you. Alright? And that is where you come to the area of decisions, because it brings you into an area of certainty and control. Is this clear? If it went over your head, don't worry. It took me like 20 something years to understand this myself, so it's alright. My brothers and sisters, we are coming to the end of this. I know some people's eyes are getting heavy. If you need toothpicks, tell me. You can put it like this and it sticks. Right? I want to say to you that the essential truth is this. That living life is about making choices for yourself. You choose to be a victim or you choose to be a master. Do you want to be a victim of circumstances or do you want to be in control of your circumstances? Which one? Think for yourself. Why? Because both stances are subject to the same givens, to the same boundary conditions, but both stances have implications which are very different. If you choose to be a victim, then you have certain implications. If you choose to be a master, you have some very different implications. Your happiness, your success, your effectiveness depends on taking masterful stances in life, no matter what your circumstances are. Present circumstances, whatever they are, do not determine whether you will succeed or fail. They only determine where you need to start. So think about it. What would you choose to do? Who are victims and who are masters? My definitions. Victims are people who complain about what happened. Lots of carping. Victims are people who always think of excuses, who always put the blame on others. You ask them, why are you not successful? And they'll give you a number of reasons why they are not successful, all of which are outside themselves. And if they can't find anybody to blame, they blame Allah. And they say, what can I do, my brother? This is my qadar. हमारे हैदराबाद में बोलते हैं वो किस्मत ही कैसी है. Victim stances, blaming others, and of course with that losing hope and so forth, losing courage. Masterful stances, on the other hand, very simple. The person taking a masterful stance says, alright, here is the situation, now what can I do? Here is the situation, what can I do? So they think of solutions, they own responsibility, they look at options, they develop alternatives. If one doesn't work, they think of something else. Is that clear? My brothers and sisters, supposing I tell you that I am now going to go and buy a car, what will you ask me? Which car? Right? I'm going to buy a car. What do you mean, which car? I'm going to buy a car. Is that a logical, sensible statement? I'm going to buy a car. Is there something called a car? No, right? Which car? Because if I want to buy a Toyota Corolla, there is a price. If I want to buy a BMW X5, there is a price. If I want to buy a Maybach, there is another price. Which car? I can bet you, when you walk out of here, you catch hold of the first person you see on the street and say, do you want to be successful or do you want to be a failure? What do you think they will say? How many of you do you think you're going to find somebody who says, I want to be the biggest failure the world has ever seen? Now, even that is success because he doesn't want to be an ordinary failure. He wants to be the biggest failure the world has ever seen. Success. I've successfully failed. Everybody in the world wants to be successful, but let me ask you this question. Are we surrounded by successful people in life? Do you see everybody you see are successful? No. Why? Because success does not come just by wanting it. Success has a price. People don't succeed because they are not willing to pay the price. And in many cases, people are not willing to pay the price not because they consciously chose to do that, but they are not willing to pay the price because they don't even know what the price is. They have not defined success, they don't know what it takes, and therefore they don't pay it. Or they wait too long and the time comes to pay the price. Now it's like saying, now I don't have enough money, because so you don't have enough time left in your life, or you don't have enough energy or something, so success passes you by. Everybody in the world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is adil. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives qualities and talents and energy to everyone. But Allah does not force anyone to be successful. And what is the Quranic definition of success? وَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. Just wanting it is not going to make it happen. We have to do something about it. So, here is another exercise for you. What is the price of your success? And the price of your success is measured in actions. What actions do you need to start doing which you don't do today? What actions do you do today which you need to stop doing? And what actions do you do today which you need to continue to do? Make that table, write those things, start on. Start, stop, continue. Because that is the definition of success. Is it clear? Yes? No? No? Can't hear you. What is success? That you have to define. What success for you is not for me. What you want is success is to get married or something. I don't know. Allah. Each person has a different definition of success, right? Some things we have a common definition, which is the definition of the Quran which I gave you, which inshallah must not is the definition for all of us. But how is this? The najah from the nar, how am I supposed to get it? It will be different from me and different for you. Because we have different lives, we have different choices we make, and we have different things which are coming in the way. And define success also in your worldly terms if you like, and say what is it that I need to do, what are the things. So each person needs to define success in their own personal terms. Very important. That was the original life goal which I wrote for you. That's all. Alright? Finally, we are coming to the end of this seminar. In another 10 minutes we will be done. Thing to do now is to write goals, and therefore in goals setting, I'll teach you a method very quickly. There are two kinds of goals, being goals and doing goals. We all like to express ourselves in terms of being goals. I want to be this, I want to be that. I want to be successful, I want to be a good father, I want to be a good mother, I want to be in a good marriage. But remember, every being goal has to be translated into doing goals. You want to be in a good marriage, what do you need to do? You want to be a good father, what do you need to do? You want to be head of the organization, what do you need to do? You want to be rich, what do you need to do? Applies. What do you need to do? So this doing goals are very important. So translate the being goal into a doing goal. Because the reality is, to be, you have to do. But to do, you don't have to be. To know how to be a successful manager, for example, you don't have to actually be a manager, you can learn before that. And that way you will become successful. So to be, you have to do. To do, you don't have to be. And unless you do, you will never be. Say that again, quickly. And then finally, the SMART goals model. You know what's a SMART goal? Every goal must be set on this model to see whether it is smart or not. I want to be a good father. Is that a SMART goal or not a SMART goal? Is it? How? What is a good father? What is the measurement? You want to be a good father by when? You get the point I'm saying? A SMART goal has to satisfy those conditions. Is it specific enough? Number one, what is the measurement? Is it specific? Take the example of, take soccer for example, right? Say you're going onto the field. Do you need to know which side is your goal or no? Which side is your goal post? Yours and the others. You need to know that, you don't need to know that. Those of you who don't think it's important, just kick your goal into your own thing once and see what happens to you. You will attain Shahada, you will instantly there only, right? So you need to specifically, this side is my goal, which means I don't kick the ball here, I kick it over there. Then, measurable. How do you know if you win the match or you not win the match? Points. How do you know? Hello, wake up please. Points. Soccer, how do you know? Score, right? And you say, no, forget the score. You know what, look at my shirt. I mean, take it out, I sweat, it's all dripping. I mean, man, I worked so hard, I ran so much, I fell down, I hurt myself. Who cares? Who cares? Big deal. The other guy made 20 goals, you made 1. You worked so hard, you couldn't even score 1 goal. It just shows how badly you play. That's all it shows. I'm sorry to be so unkind, but this is life, yeah? You work hard, who cares? What is important is what did you get out of that working hard? So, measurable. Then, when you go on the soccer field, if you are a player there, actionable, do you know what to do and what not to do? Hopefully yes, because then realistic. Name for me a soccer team, a global soccer team. I'm not very good at soccer. Tell me, which is the Manchester United. So supposing we say now, West Springfield Islamic Society Western Mass is going to play soccer against Manchester United. How many of you will be hugely inspired by this? Probably not, right? I mean, for God's sake, I mean, what is the point of even trying? I mean, those guys are going to run circles around us and shoot goals, and we'll be, because we are not professional players, I mean, we are professional. So the goal must also be realistic. I told you, like those two fighting in the back, any bets on who will win, yeah? Okay. So the goal should be realistic, meaning that it should be exciting, it should be inspiring, but don't set an completely unrealistic goal which you don't have a chance of winning. Finally, supposing I said, no, you have to play Manchester United, you have no choice. So my brother Zaid says, you know what, I'll tell you what, best thing to do. We'll go on the field at 2 o'clock in the night and we'll score 200 goals. Let's see how they beat us. Does it work? No, because there is a time frame within which you have to score. So by when? A goal without a time frame is a holy mother intention. It's good to nobody. Every goal must have a time frame. By when? No matter how unsure you might be, put some timeline on it. Say by this date, and then you will find things will start moving and you will start doing things. Right? And finally, what is better than smart? Is smarter. So the ER, which is periodically evaluate and reward yourself or reward others as you keep working. Because you have to keep your energy going as you move along. Is that clear? Goal setting? Very nice. And that is it. My brothers and sisters, do remember in all of this that when we are talking about becoming standard bearers of Islam, remember that in a world full of injustice, the person who stands for justice will be called a stranger. People who look at you strangely and say, what is this? In a world which has no haya, a woman with a hijab will be looked at as a stranger. In a world where people routinely deceive each other in the name of advertising, when they tell open lies in the name of advertising, if you stand up and say, no, this is what I am selling, and that's a fact, I don't fool you, this is what is good about it, this is what is not good about it, you will be called a stranger. And when that happens, feel happy. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, give glad tidings of the Jannah to the strangers. Hadith of the Ghuraba, which you are aware of, think about this. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Bada al-Islam ghariban, sayauduhu kama bada, fatuba lil ghuraba. It's time for us, I believe, to become strangers in this world. Because the essential quality of leadership is the willingness to be different. To be different in a positive manner. It's the essential quality of leadership. Because in the end, Islam will spread by the winning of hearts. So are you ready to be standard bearers of Islam? Yes or no?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the best. I will put my email here because some of you wanted this presentation. So if you send me a mail, I will send you the presentation. That's good. Contact Sheikh and inshallah he will give it to you. I've already sent it to him. So you contact Sheikh and inshallah he will give you the presentation. Alright. How many of you have got, I want to give you a present, a gift, but only to those who want it. And that takes about 5 minutes or so. Some of you have already seen it, but for the others who haven't seen it, I am happy to give it to you or not to give it to you depending on you. So those of you, if you are too tired, tell me and we close right now without this. And those of you who are not too tired, you want this, tell me and we go on. Which ones? You go on or don't go on? The tone. Go on. You know, for God's sake, get out of here. Go on. Which one? Okay. So listen good. Very simple. I'm going to teach you a secret of success, which is success is actually easy. Actually easy. You notice it's very difficult to fail. Do you agree with this or not? People they fool you. They tell you success is not difficult. Success is very easy. It's actually very difficult to fail. Right? Very tough to fail. But people try very hard to fail and they succeed. Unfortunately, that's the spin. My gift to you, I call it the power of one. And what is that one? 1 degree. 1 extra degree. At 99 degrees, water is hot. At 100 degrees, it boils. Boiling water produces steam. Steam can power an engine. A matter of 1 degree. At 99 degrees, nothing will happen. At 100 degrees, the engine moves. In 2004 Olympics, in the 800-meter race, the difference between the Olympic gold medal and no medal, I'm not talking about gold and silver, gold and bronze. The difference between the Olympic gold medal and no medal was 0.7 seconds, less than 1 second. In the Indy 500 car race, the difference between the first and second position was 1.4 seconds, almost 1. The difference in prize money was $650,000. One position. I want to say to you that only 1 degree separates the good from the great. Notice we are not talking about good and bad, we are talking about good and great. Only 1 degree separates the good from the great. My brothers and sisters, I want to say to you that between growing up and growing old, there is a small window of opportunity. When you and I have the opportunity to make a difference. When that window closes, your life is effectively over, even if you remain alive, because you will not be able to achieve anything. I am saying growing up and growing old because remember, for the first 15 to sometimes 20 years of your life, you are no good to nobody. You are a net energy and resource drain. That's rather an unkind way of talking about childhood, but that's what it is. And once you are over a certain age, and for some people it comes early, for some people it comes later, but it comes to everybody, you are once again a net energy drain. So it's just that mid-piece that you and I have, where we have the opportunity to make a difference to the world we live in. I'm asking you 2 questions. What differentiates the lion from the antelope? The same thing that differentiates laser from ordinary light. This ordinary light at the most gives illumination. Laser can cut through steel. What is it that differentiates them? The same thing that differentiates leaders from the rest, and that is focus. Focus. Without focus, you have light. With focus, you cut through steel. If you want to get what you never had, you have to do what you never did. If you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. You want different, you do different. Because results come from actions, and actions define you. Results don't come from knowing things, they come from doing things. We have to know in order to do. But if you just know and don't do, it's no good. I am what I am because I do what I do, and I am saying this not about myself but about all of us. We are what we are because we do what we do. And only if I do will I get, and therefore I will be. To do, you don't have to be. But to be, you have to do. It's your life. And you are responsible for the results, nobody else. You are now aware and you have a target. The target is, what's the target? Quick. Target, what's the target? Huh? The only one remembers there. 1 extra degree, and that's not surprising. 1 extra degree. Yeah, I told her the other day, I said, I wish you were a man. And she said, if I was a man, you know what I would be doing? I said, yeah, that's right. So be a woman. Good for you. On the path to success, there are 5 things that are realities that we have to face. Number 1, we become what we think. You know why? Because the mind is like a fertile field. It gives you, it doesn't care what you plant in it. It's like a field, you plant anything, the field doesn't care. But it only gives you back what you planted. What is in your hand is your harvest. What is in the ground is the seed. Those of you who want to hang on to your wealth, think about that. You want to hang on to your wealth? That's all you got. Plant it as a seed, you get a harvest. The more seeds you plant, the bigger harvest you get. Second, attitude. What is attitude? Attitude is knowing that nothing stands between a man and woman and what they want except their will to try. Because success is nothing more than this: to stand up every time you fall. Third one, faith. And what is faith? I want to share a saying of Barbara Winters, which talks about tawakkul. She says, when you come to the end of the light of all that you know and are about to step off into the darkness of the unknown, faith is knowing that one of two things will happen. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Allah says the one who has taqwa, Allah will extract him from his difficulties and He will provide him from sources that he could not imagine. And the one who has tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will become sufficient for him. Fourth one is to have a goal. And what kind of goal? An extraordinary goal. Because it is the nature of the extraordinary goal to inspire extraordinary effort. Nobody rises to low expectations. People rise to high expectations. Expect the highest from yourself and then work to create it. The last one is perseverance. What is perseverance? Perseverance is knowing that life is not one long race, which is a lot of short races, one after the other. You run one, you win it, you run one, you win it. If you fall, doesn't matter, run it again and you win it. I want to share with you my motto in life, and that is, I will not allow what is not in my control to prevent me from doing what is in my control. Because no matter which situation you are in, there will always be things which are out of your control. Don't worry about that. Focus on things which are in your control and you will find that what is out of your control will gradually start becoming in your control. Many times we globalize the problems and then we feel helpless because we say, what can we do? The whole ummah is like this. True, you can't do anything about the ummah. You can do something about your family. You can do something about your community. So focus on what you can do and you find that the rest will start coming together on its own. And the last one, the question that I ask myself, and I request you to ask yourself, what do you want to be remembered for? Jazakallahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.